stop scrolling, because in the next few minutes we will examine 5 categories of assets that governments have historically seized first when a crisis escalates. This is not a conspiracy theory, it is documented history, and historical patterns tend to repeat under similar pressures. Here is the core premise most people misunderstand. Your supplies do not fully belong to you. Your gold does not fully belong to you. Your generator does not fully belong to you. From a legal standpoint, these are conditional privileges granted while social order remains functional. When systems come under sustained pressure, property rights shift from guarantees to recommendations. Stored private resources are reclassified as assets to be redistributed in the public interest. This is not ideological. It is mathematical. The basic numbers: Germany has approximately 83 million people. Historical preparedness estimates suggest that no more than 2% of households maintain functional reserves. That equals roughly 1.6 million prepared households. The remaining population is almost entirely dependent on just-in-time logistics, supply chains that collapse after the first serious disruption. Now, consider a prolonged grid failure. Not hours, weeks. Supermarkets empty within 72 hours. Fuel stations are depleted within 96. At that point, 83 million people ask the same question: where is the food? The documented answer is consistent across history. It is located in the homes of those who prepared. This is where the political problem emerges. Prepared households are not criminal. Why? But they represent a functional anomaly inside a failing system. That anomaly becomes politically unsustainable. The state faces a choice: tens of millions of hungry, destabilized citizens, or a small minority holding resources that can be framed as unfairly concentrated. From a governance perspective, the decision is straightforward. This pattern is not theoretical. It is observable in documented historical events. Confiscation category. 1. Gold and precious metals. United States, April 3, 1933. Executive Order 6102. Historical records show that private gold ownership was criminalized overnight. All citizens were required to surrender gold holdings to the Federal Reserve. No exceptions, no debate. The justification cited national emergency, economic stability, and the public good. Owners were compensated at a fixed price. Shortly afterward, the official gold price was revalued upward by government decree. This was not a mistake. It was a legislated wealth transfer. Refusal resulted in heavy fines and prison sentences. Private gold ownership remained illegal for decades. Importantly, this occurred within a constitutional democracy, not an authoritarian regime. Historical precedent shows that during crises, constitutional protections are subject to flexible interpretation. Property rights become conditional. Privacy becomes secondary. Germany experienced a similar mechanism during hyperinflation in the 1920s. Foreign currency and precious metals were legally seized. Private wealth was converted into state instruments that rapidly lost value. The result was consistent. Citizens retained paper. The state retained hard assets. Modern tracking mechanisms amplify this effect. Bank records, registered dealers, transaction thresholds, digital payment histories. These systems do not disappear during emergencies. They are repurposed. The issue is not confiscation alone. It is traceability. Confiscation Category 2. Food reserves. Historical wartime anti-hoarding laws provide clear precedent. In multiple documented cases, families were arrested for storing quantities of food deemed excessive under emergency rationing rules. The logic is simple. Excess possession is reframed as deprivation of others. Preparedness becomes antisocial behavior. More recent examples show similar social dynamics. During economic collapse scenarios, households displaying signs of abundance are identified, often by neighbors, not authorities. Rationing systems are introduced. Maximum storage limits are imposed. Surpluses are reclassified as communal resources. This process is typically legal and procedural. The enforcement mechanism is social compliance, purchase histories, online orders, bulk transactions. These data sets persist and become targeting tools during crises. Confiscation Category 3. Energy. Autonomy generators and independent power systems introduce a visibility problem. Sound signatures, light output, thermal emissions. In blackout conditions, these signals become statistically anomalous. Historical and military records confirm the use of thermal imaging and aerial scanning to identify active power sources during infrastructure failures. Energy autonomy is rarely banned explicitly. Instead, it is restricted through emergency allocation orders. Private systems are reclassified as assets required for critical infrastructure. Hospitals, government facilities, distribution centers, not private residences. Confiscation. Category 4. Vehicles and fuel. Fuel is consistently treated as a strategic resource. Historical rationing systems demonstrate that private fuel storage becomes subject to requisition once reserves fall below critical thresholds. Transaction data from fuel stations enables identification of abnormal purchasing patterns. Private mobility transitions from personal freedom to logistical asset. Confiscation. Category 5. Communication and information. Control of communication equals control of coordination. Amateur radio equipment, satellite phones, and independent communication tools are routinely restricted during emergencies. Historical records show confiscations justified under public safety and anti-panic legislation. Unregulated communication is viewed as destabilizing. Final assessment preparation alone is insufficient. Historical outcomes show a consistent rule. Preparation plus visibility results in confiscation. Preparation plus invisibility increases survivability. This is not ideology, it is pattern recognition. What is known? Governments reallocate resources during crises. What is disputed? The timing and scale. What cannot be verified in advance? Who remains invisible long enough? The conclusion remains consistent across documented cases. In systemic crises, invisibility is not paranoia. It is risk management. This is not a warning, it is a historical observation. System after.